All right. You guys had lunch. It was nice. It was okay. You're alive. You're gonna digest now. Belly full. Fall asleep in class. I understand. I did that all the time. This afternoon is not going to be super exciting. People are arriving, giving them time to settle. This afternoon is not going to be super exciting. It's going to be relaxed. And we're going to go over again mantras, but we're going to do the practice with the mala, like I said, that we're going to do. That kind of thing that we're going to use to. So if you don't have mala, it's okay. Like I said, you can get one from Martha. But what you can do is just let other people count. Just do the mantra as long as the others are doing it. This tool is to count. It has another property, it's mass. And now that we've learned about transmigration, that our consciousness goes in there, we've learned that we can affect it. We can put some intention in there. So when you use your mala and you count your beads, you're touching it. So some of that consciousness, that influence that you're building is going into the device, into the thing. But if you would use an electronic clicker, you would have that energy in your electronic clicker. Okay, it will work. This is more traditional, and there's a feeling to it that you touch it with your hands that the electronic clicker doesn't give you. Okay. Yeah, you can have your holy mala. Click, 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 click. When your mala breaks, oh my God, I lost all my mantras. No, you lost beads. You just take another one and keep going. Okay. Because when you do mantra, it's inside that you have those mantras. That's the count. The mantras, they affect you inside. When I was talking earlier about these traumatic potentials you have from the past, but also these joys, these moments of love, these experiences that are good, that left good traces in you, it's inside. You have them. So when you do the mantra, the transformation, the energy, you're gaining it. You're training that and you're getting it inside. So you're not going to lose. If you lose your mala, you don't lose all the work you did with it. You just get another counter and keep going. However, if you use it for months or years, the same, it's filled also with that because you are always in contact with it. Okay? But this is my kind of things, like when your mala breaks, get a new one. It's not, oh my God, does it mean something? So people come half crying to try to get their beads from under the sofa because it just went everywhere. I've been using it for 7 years and it's just like I lost everything. All my work. No, you lost nothing. The mala is not the powerful thing. You are. You are the one with some influence. So we're good. We get this. You whisper it softly. Okay, we're gonna do Manajava, and let's do a little parenthesis again. Sometimes there are mantras that we learn in the Majriya to get you more sensitivity to energy. Also, like the basic elements, it shields you from the vampires. Okay, vampires don't exist. It's a metaphor. I'm talking this guy at work that sucks your energy, okay, and you just go, ugh. We all have this one person when he comes, like, oh, everyone is sucked, right, okay? So you can have your own shield, okay? And until you experience it, it really looks like bullshit and, mystical mumbo jumbo. But like all the other things we've done, feeling our energy and stuff, then you realize it's real when you experience it. Until you experience it, I like to be careful with all the, the thingy-majigs and the tricks you get in the New Age world that are supposed to protect your soul and your being. Yeah. Can you measure it? Can you see? Can you observe it? Not really. So Okay, let's give and take with that. So why do I vouch that this technique works when we do the elements? Now we're going to do Manajava, but when you do the basic elements, Om Priti Vida Tu Bhumi Devia, okay, so that phrase, you want to say it a total of 11,664 times over 12 days in a specific way. Okay, so we take Mala, and you want to finish your malas because you're good for 20 minutes of speed dialing your mantra, you know. You could go a bit slower and enjoy the ride, but some of you have 6 of those mantras because now today I have to do earth and then fire. Then there's a process with the other master I want to learn. They just pile up. There are 3 hours of process, which I say, hey, 20 minutes is cool, right? But, you know, she's making a face. She's going, yeah. When you discover what it does inside you and what it does around you when you start charging mantra, some people just don't dig it. But I think, 90% of the Maharaja just went, okay, let's do 3 hours of this shit. It's like, because you don't see the 3 hours pass. When you start, it's just buzzing. It's like an acid trip without drugs, you know? Because all this consciousness and stuff is coming. It's like, wow, this is like, it's a new life. So the first ones, the mantras, Om Priti Vida Tu Bhumi Devya, and then the fire, Om Tejaza Tu Agnaya, Om Akashara Tu Shivaya. These series of mantras, you tend to do it fast, okay? So I said, oh, let's do Mala Manajava. Manajava. Whoa. Okay? Chill. Manajava. Okay? Because we just do one Mala. Just to let it settle down inside. Okay? Reciting the mantra itself has an effect on you when you repeat it like this. Because we just spent 2-3 days talking about what it means, Manajava in Sanskrit. It's all this deconstruction of your Cartesian limits. It doesn't deconstruct your Cartesian mind, because Cartesian mind is essential. It removes the limits. It removes your filters that keep you stuck as a victim of this world. Okay? Like everything that happens just happens to me. No, it just happens. That's it, you know. So it kind of frees you of that. And once we've learned this, you do the mantra, and now your subconscious starts to accept, okay, this is how I live now. This is what I think now. Okay? Take your mala. And when you breathe, you just go, Manajava. Okay, you survive the process, okay? Don't go, no, it's just mantra in, okay? It's okay. And those who don't have mala, don't worry, just say it for more or less as long as we do. Okay. Manajava. Physically or in your mind, whispered is good. Manajava. Manajava. 4, 3, 2, 1. Yay. Okay. So that's a mala of Manajava. Do 3 minutes. We traditionally do this because for some reason it connects us even more. So we'll just do it I first did it because it was a religious gesture, and then I realized how good it feels doing this afterwards, because I connect my brain with my heart. So I'm not stuck in the head. It's like, just what I think. I understand Manajava. I experience Manajava. Oh yeah, I like it. So it looks even more religious. But, I feel it as an experience. It's doing something inside me, so I do it. Okay? The way to charge Manajava, if you want, as a siddhi, there's many ways, but with a mala, you will do 9 malas per day for 12 days. Typical Magia formula. Well, 9 mala, and not speed dial, just Manajava. So you're good for a good, 20 to 30 minutes, just doing your thing. And it's carrying you, your energy rises, your conceptions of the world change, and it produces something very beneficial inside. After that, you do a contemplation, like meditative. Manajava. Some kind of meditation, relaxing into it, okay? Another way, without the mala, is to just do the meditation, is 20 minutes to 1 hour per day, as long as you can handle it. So, the first siddhi I learned was Anima, and I did it 8 years. That was my practice as a sadhu during my training as a Hindu Swami. Oh yeah, I'm a Buddhist master, but before I was a Hindu Swami. I did 7.5 years of Hindu training and everything. Temples and all the stuff, begging in the street for 1 year, 11 months actually. Having nothing for me, sleeping on a wood floor with a sleeping bag, much more comfortable than the wood floor. So when I could afford a sleeping bag, I think my mom gave me that sleeping bag when she learned I was sleeping on the floor. She freaked out. She completely lost her shit. But anyway, I did the real severe ascetic thing. It's pretty harsh. Doing this in Canada, it's cold in the winter. But I had a room and my wood floor, so that was that. It's unrequired. Don't do that. I did these sacrifices to learn everything I wanted to learn because there was nothing clear for me like, what is this sacred wisdom? So I did what I had to become a Hindu Swami, to get the wisdom, to train it. I invested $100,000 in there. I never expect to get it back. That's why I don't sell you the wisdom. I give it. You pay for the plane tickets, but the wisdom I just give it. And if someone comes for free, say, hey, I paid hard money to get this wisdom, so price of seminar will be, this is business thinking. When I invested that money was for me. It was not a capital I have to recuperate in my business chain. No, I did it for me. So I just put everything. Then I realized, okay, some people will not have access because they don't have the money. I was working hard to get everything. I didn't pay my rent. I went to the places to learn, and I got evicted when it came back. It was shit like that. It was not responsible. So that's when I decided people who have the money, they should help me, or else I can't be here again. And people who can, they should not, because I don't want anyone to suffer in the process. Because that's how a devoted person in a temple, that's how a saint should think. So, I want to walk the talk and do what I have to do. Okay? So that was the parenthesis on, where I got some of these techniques, and yeah, I'm a Swami. Whatever.
Charges the city for 30 days, 33 days?
Okay, if you have a mala, it's a typical. It's 9 malas a day for 12 days. So 9 times 12 is 108. So this is 108 bead. You will have done 108 malas, total 11,664 recitation over a certain period. Can I do it all the same day? Okay, if you want to get a muscle stronger inside you, if you go to the gym and say, well, they say 20 reps, 3 times with a break, I want to get stronger, I'm going to do 200 reps, yeah, and you tear off your muscle, So if you do more, relax. If you do more than one process per day, if you do like you're doing the Manajava, then you want to charge the Garima if you're doing this seminar thing. But if you want to do something else, don't do too much. I mean, when I was studying in the sadhu path, we would do, 20-hour recitation in a row, 6 days in a row. Yeah. Because it breaks other limits, but it's not the healthiest and most functional way to learn. Do your 20 minutes if you're the average person who has a life. Okay? Because after that, there's still Netflix. You have to go. You know? I mean, there's to each their own interest. I'm waiting for the next episode of that show, you know? So I dig it. I get it. But if it hits you, go ahead. After 2-3 hours, I mean, do some integration, go see friends, you know, relax your mind. You also have a life, you know, work and whatever. So you don't have to pile it up. I say 20 minutes is a minimum to see quickly a consistent change. If you do 5 minutes per day, it's like saying, I'm going to do a diet like 6 hours a day. That's not a diet. That's just not, it's just jumping a meal, you know. So it's not the same thing. So just think about it. It's give and take. If you don't have a mala, you do 20 minutes to 1 hour of meditation, long time. Weeks, months, years, whatever floats your boat. There's so many things in Magia that we don't end up doing one thing for 3 years. We just, okay, I've done this one for a month, but now there's these 7 ones that I wanted to try. And what is cool is all these different mantras really do have different flavors and energy. You all get different experiences. They all part of this new thing. How many mantras do we have in the Magia? It's like, I don't know, hundreds? I mean, I always say it. You pick your favorite 10, and that's you're good, you know? But then there's a guy, I want to learn and charge everything. Go ahead. I've done it. I get it. I understand. Actually, half of those mantras I didn't charge because I created them. I already have the state of being from which I extracted the wisdom to do the mantra and tell you. So it's like I've done it, but not through this process. I've done it through my own work, and you know, I did the Hindu way, then the Buddhist way, a bit of Christian, you know. So if you want the quick charge, it's 9 mala a day for 12 days, and you do contemplation afterwards. Just rest in it. Let your subconscious change. Try to remember the teaching. Oh yeah, there was something about space and time being the same thing. You know, try to remember the teachings. Try to feel it. But doing the mantra will have an effect. We're good? Cool. Garima. Your body's dense. You're still going to be the same weight you ever were. Okay, you're not going to become heavier. Garima just reminds you how dense and heavy is physical mass. Okay? It just makes you feel the body. So when you want to access nature, okay, that's a good thing. I just thought. If you do the mantra in your mind, you're good. Mana Java. Just you do the practice here in your mind. If you count or you don't count, doesn't matter. Because you'll be affecting your mind. And it works. But then if you want to affect the physical world, you have to do a physical act. This is a physical act. You take your thumb and you pull one. You just put it there and you pull every time. And then you have your other fingers, you know. So that's a physical gesture. Whispering it, Mana Java, Gadi, Ma, Gadi, Ma, Gadi, Ma. Doing something physical, then what you're charging will go and affect your physical reality. So that's why we do a physical gesture and physical world. So what you say and what you do. And that affects the physical world. Because there's a lot of, prefer doing it in my mind. Is it okay? Of course. It's going to affect your mind. You're going to have all this perception of oneness and things that come together, the flow of experience. Mana Java in your mind is perfect. And if you do Garima only in your mind, because you don't feel good reciting it, or in some cases with a teenager says, I can't start to go, you know, Mambo Jamo in my room, like my parents will freak out. It's just, I'm going to keep it in my mind. Okay, cool. Would be nice if your parents were open-minded, but, you know, they feed you, so you respect them. And that's good enough for me. And he says, you know, I mean, you know, I would go to hell, like not when I die, just like this evening, because they're very Christian, you know. I said, okay, can't say something in Sanskrit because, you know, Satan will come and do some whatever. So I say, I get it. You deal with your environment. So whatever reason you prefer doing it in your mind, it works in your mind. Garima will not be as intense if you don't whisper it and if you don't pop the beads, okay? But it's still not dramatic because you're going to have an understanding. By doing the practice in your mind, you're going to have some kind of understanding. There are things from the physical world that will start to make sense without anyone explaining this to you. It's just Mass will reveal what it is, okay? So don't worry about it. Do what you feel comfortable. In the Maharishi, freedom is absolute. You do what you feel like. Mala in hand. Just waiting for a coffee to hit the ground. All right. This is the speed. Garima, garima, garima. Okay? Garima, 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 garima. Feel your mass. Garima, 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 garima. Incarnate. Garima, 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 garima. Garima, 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 garima. All right, so we did a recitation with the mala. The energy here is felt. We don't feel as dense in our body than when you've got the initiation, because now we've been reciting as a practice. So this is when we go and take a few minutes to contemplate God. After you've done your 9 malas of that day, few minutes, contemplate. Feel your body. Incarnate. Just go in there. I'm sitting in my ass. This is how I feel like, when I wear my pants, I enter my pants, I'm sitting there. So I imagine as a consciousness, I go and I sit in my butt. I in the container, and I feel more present. And then I put my legs on. I push my consciousness down, like if I'm wearing my physical leg. That's just my metaphor, my own, my own game in my mind. You do what you feel works for you. Just go in the body. Garima. 10 times more dense than what your nervous system can tell you. Garima. Good. Deep breath. These 2 mantras are not part of a specific system of the 10. The siddhis of Krishna cover those. The siddhis of Krishna are all these words accompanied by a phrase or concept to contemplate that Krishna created in a system of meditation thousands of years ago, before the sutras and the tattvas and the Vedas were written. Okay. So, the Vedas were written before his time, but it was like in the same period, like many thousands before, I don't remember when, okay? So it was way pre-Buddha, pre-Christ. And he has a system, Anima, Mahima, Garima, Lagima, Pradvi, Prakamya. Says guys, like I've done it so much, but I just, in the last 10 years, I haven't. Because, I was 20 when I was 30. Okay, anima mahima garima lagami prakti prakamya shidva vashidva kamarotadva anubimadvam manajava sarvana darshanam
On the basic, then go up to
anubimadvam.
Anumimatvam.
That's the 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have Shravana Darshanam, Manajava is 12, Kanaka Dara, and you have Trikalagyanam, and it's like there's a bundle.
Right.
Yeah, but the training we train in the Mahariya, the official training is from 1 to 10. So you spend 1 month doing anima, 1 month doing mahima, because this teaches you something. But you should get initiation. You should. Getting initiation from a master is not because this master is going to give you a power or something important. No, it's better if you do it after you got an explanation. So go talk to someone who will tell you what to do and how to go. So, there was a thing during early Mahariya that you can't practice a mantra if you have not been ordained by or initiated by a master of the Mahariya, because then, all your mantra charge didn't work. What? So how did the first guy who never had a master, how did he do it? How does that work, right? If you get an explanation by someone, you know more what to focus on. And some of the experience of the teacher goes to you. It helps, but it is not necessary. You can read a book, check the mantra, look at the line, and say, okay, I'm going to practice this. And if you practice long enough, you're going to get it. But if you have a teaching, you're going to get it 10 times faster. So, it's efficient. It's like if you tell you, hey, make a cake. Here are the ingredients. Or, make a cake. This is how you have to mix the ingredients. Hey, make a cake. There's a step-by-step measure of how much you should, at what time. Let's do a video that you can follow and then understand. Now, we'll talk about how the oven works. And then you can make a cake. Because, like I said, I used to do mud or brick, but not cake. When I tried making cake, I got the 2 dents are not enough, but I did 1 cake correctly once in my life, and then I said, fuck that, this is just not my field, okay? I'm gonna go teach someone a mantra. This is my work. I'm gonna make them look at their own pride and hope they don't hate me afterwards. And, so to ease your competence. So if you have an explanation by someone who knows what he's doing, it's gonna help, okay? It's not necessary, it's just very useful. Good, so I hope we don't go all mystical about the secrets in the temple. Cut that crap, okay? Once you've charged your mantras and experienced it, you'll realize your mind starts to see things in a new way. You feel better, you have more means, there's less moments of drama, less panic. Because the more you feel as a soul, as a being inside, I feel I exist now, the less it's dramatic when someone insults you. Because when you are nobody and you're just hoping to be validated by everyone, we say we don't care if someone insults us. I don't care what people think. You say that, right? I don't mind. Whatever. People will think whatever. And then you hear that the boyfriend of the neighbor of your hairstylist said that you're a fucking idiot, and you explode. You don't even know the guy. It's 3 degrees down a pyramid. You just heard that someone has a negative thought about you, and you lose your shit. And then you go, I don't care what people think, but he's an asshole because he said I was an idiot. You say, we all say that we don't care what people think. And we're so profoundly dependent on other people validating our existence, okay? Because we don't have it for ourselves. So we do personal growth, in our case, mostly emotional integration, sometimes other techniques. We do spiritual practice. We do a lot of philosophy, studying ourselves and the universe. It's fun. And then I exist for me. So if someone doesn't validate me, I didn't stop existing. If someone calls me an idiot, maybe he's right. Let's go look. Yeah, you have to be open. If someone insulted you, there's a reason why they insulted you. You might have done something or said something. Maybe they are full of shit and they just react with judgment. Or maybe you did do something, and until you look at your own behavior, you won't know. So when someone insults me, so It's like, hey, you are irreverent. So thank you so much. Like, thanks. I'm gonna go and check that out. It's like I just got a new clue. Yeah, I stayed irreverent. I didn't change. I still swear in class and do stuff like that. You know, we don't like it. It's then, you know, fuck it. It was coming, right? So, charge mantras if you feel like it. The Magia, our base, the cornerstone is freedom is absolute. And our religion is a religion of results. You know, it sounds very marketing. Actually, our philosophy is a philosophy of results. If you can't observe, measure, even if it's not always scientific, if you cannot acknowledge an obvious effect in your life, we don't want that practice. We don't want that philosophy because maybe you're wasting your time. Okay? So we're a Buddhist tradition based on the results that are provided. And if they don't give results, please stop following us. You're just not made for that. And if you do have results, well, let's talk about the next class. And you just go on. All right? We're cool with that? Okay. Mala time. You can go to the bathroom. No problem. We're just going to do a mala. Yeah, Carlito al fondo, moviendo así como el... I say, you can go to the bathroom and people run. I guess I'll do my mala and go afterwards, right? Yeah. All right. Before we start, we're going to synthesize a feeling inside. Synthesize means fake it until it's real. Use your imagination until you can try to feel something, and it is so abstract. We've covered it a lot. My body, my breath, and my mind is the same thing according to my soul. It's one unified experience. Let's do that, okay? So before we do the mala, we're specifically on my soul experience, everything as a single unified experience, phenomena, okay? Mana Java, 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 Mana Java. Mana Java, 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 Mana Java. Mana Java, 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 Mana Java. Java, Mana 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 Java. It's your turn. Serving number 17. Number 17. He was like lifting. Oh no, someone else went. He's in the back. So every time he wants to go to the bathroom, someone goes up. He goes. It's like, okay, next time. After that mantra, like, go first. All right, small contemplation. The joke was so funny to do, so I had to do it now. But let's contemplate Mahashava, just a feeling. 1 minute, just this little contemplation. In nature, in the world, my body and my mind are two distinct things. But for my soul, they're a single experience that is unified. It all flows together. Once you have enough experience, you say the creator and the creation is the same thing. Taking a bottle of water and taking God who created the universe and made that bottle of water is the same thing. All right, deep breath. Good. All right, more small talk. Why would I just this? There's a lot of stories in the sutras, in the Bible, in the Torah, in the Quran, in the Vedas, everywhere, that really look fantastic. A bit like I was telling you about the Qi doctors in the surgery room in China, that when sometimes someone dies, well, they appear to die. They have all the clinical conditions for a death to be called by a doctor. The Qi doctor goes and pops them back to life, and they keep going, And not everywhere, but it's a thing, okay? Because they understand sometimes, the body just needs to be boosted, and it keeps going. And they have this knowledge that if there's an organ or an important part of the system that is fatally wounded, you can't bring someone back to life that doesn't have a body to live as a fully functioning organism. Okay, but they do that. And then you hear about Jesus and St. John the Baptist and all these saints and prophets that resurrected the dead. And it looks like super divine intervention, and you've of course learned that it's only the Son of God who can do that. And, basically, if you learn about the functioning of Qi, and if you learn about how life force happens in the body, and how to do that, it's not as spectacular as it seems in the books. Do you understand? Because if the body is not capable of sustaining life, it can't. But if it just needs a nudge, sometimes just a little nudge to bring it back. My son died, Jonas, when he was 1 year old. He ate berries, that if you have a berry of those, an adult dies in 3 hours. And he was 1 year old, so he's just like it contracts your muscles until your heart contracts and it stops beating, it's over. Okay. So he was in the ambulance when he was on his finishing moment. So when we brought him to the hospital, they know they cannot do anything about it. They put the Solitaire, they try stuff, but it just doesn't work. So what they do, and I learned that afterwards, they say, okay, we need to ship you to the other hospital. We can't do anything here. Because they know that baby is dying in 5 minutes, So they put him in the ambulance, and I was with my car following them. He says, you can't follow us, sir. You're going to get a speeding ticket. Just trust us. We know what we're doing. He's like, yeah, sure. Fuck you. I'm right behind that ambulance. Because I'm like, I was just all fucking out, invoking every power of the universe, because I knew all he needed was some transmutation. And then he was contracted, and he died. And my ex-wife, the mom of my kids, she said, I knew he was dead because it's my baby. But then he just went, and he was sleeping, and it was fine. That's it. I was in the back like, fuck it, I'm resurrecting my son. But all he needed was that little, change of flavor of water. It's just that little nudge. Like, remove that component. Turning it back to carbs, whatever, do something. Just do that. And I have never shouted so loud a ritual in a car at 140 kilometers. So basically, I don't know, you'd say 90 miles, I think, 80 miles, 90 miles. Behind it, just bam, 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 da, 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 da. I was like, I'm going to give him a third of my lifetime. Just fucking do it. Like, I tried to transact with him. It's just chill. We're just going to remove the poison. Okay, we're good. And then, punk. Just took a big breath. His muscles relaxed. Toxin was gone, and he was alive. It was done. We stayed 12 hours at the hospital just to see, and he was just crying, sleeping, wanting to be fed. It's just like, he was back. And I was you're really lucky because no one makes it with this thing. It's a crazy thing. One of those flowers is so beautiful, people think that it's cool, so they just leave it there on the table. And then they grow in your garden. It's like, oh, it's so cute, let it grow, we put it on the table. So I learned that I forgot the name of that flower. Imagine me, I forgot the name of flower. It's a little white flower, it's cute, but most people die from this flower because someone put the flowers in a pot, and now the flowers are dead, so they just take the flowers, and there's a pot of water on the table, and then the husband, the child comes, serves a glass of water, and bam, it's over. And we have this in our gardens. Like, ban that shit. I'm Canadian, we're afraid of everything, so it's like, this flower should just cease existing. But no, it's beautiful, grow it everywhere, just don't eat it. Yeah, okay. So anyway, that's the story of me and my son Jonas. So that's the first resurrection I've done, because there was just a little nudge required. And once you understand that, once you've done your transmigration, you transmuted water a bit, you've done the finger length thing, you've done a lot of this for a decade, then you get it. It's just like, do what you have to do to make it happen. Okay? So it's so less spectacular. It's not easy, and it's highly mystical, but so many people with the proper training, I mean, in India and China, people get that training. It's part of their, entire class. They get a job. It's their job. They have to be there, and they ensure the proper circulation of life force in the person that is going to surgery or going to the hospital. And, this is where Reiki comes from, Asia. It's where all massage comes from. It's all from Asia. The Asian, they do so much stuff like this, and because they have less influence from the pharma industry, so they have still a lot of those natural things. And yeah, and here, well, the Christians killed all the witches who could do it, so she brought him back to life, she's a witch. Well, okay, she's a witch, but she brought my lover to life. Like, fuck you. I love her, I love that girl. But the Judeo-Christian thing, like, people with power, we have to get rid of them. But we had a lot of those witch doctors who do funky stuff. And they would go and say, well, his liver is exploded in 20 bits because the bear ate it. He's not coming back. It's like, yeah, a little contusion here, lost consciousness, not breathing, heart stop. Let's see what we can do about that. How long has it been? 3 hours? Borderline, let's try it. They were really like easygoing, and it just did it. But we killed them. People in Europe and America, North America, the Judeo-Christian systems, just get rid of those because, Satan. Basically, it's anyone with some kind of power could defy the church, because any mystical person had a following. Now, you meet a mystical person in the woods next to your village, you want to go ask questions. There are spiritual seekers everywhere. And because it was not their institution, it's just like, get rid of the guy. Okay, so if you remember, of course, I remember that you don't. So it's not valid. Okay. There are stories of these people who would say it's not impossible. It's just understanding how biology works, understanding how nature works. There's a dude that his trip is to just go underwater, so he just stays there. And his longest measured trip was 25 minutes. So you can survive without breathing. It's like there's something that happens in the skin. a few particles of oxygen. He sucks it from the surface of the skin in the cold water, and it just helps a bit. It's not enough, but there's a way to go and get the air otherwise, So some of you have practiced the non-breath practice, where I teach you how to just go get your oxygen from a supernatural level. And so, we tried. I think my longest was 15 minutes without a breath. I don't recommend it. It's super hard physically. Physically, it's difficult to train. But there's so many ways to push the limits of nature, and then science goes and says, yeah, that actually makes sense. It's just that those who do it have a lot of training. So that's what we train. Stuff that nature allows, and we push it far. And it's not Star Wars and Harry Potter. It's not fantasies and fairy tales. You get it? All right. Cool. One of these stories, the Hindu, they like to amplify stuff, So Krishna had 10,000 consorts. How the heck did he do it? But he had 10,000 consorts. Okay, let's tune it down. It's probably 1,000. He was a prince. And he didn't have to get married. He did, but he was a prince. And at that time, you could have whoever you want, who wanted. So, always a willing person. There's people who made a line, like to have a night with the prince Krishna was something. Especially with his power and his wisdom, it was an honor to lay with him, okay? I'm just saying it's acceptable in our society. I'm just saying, if he did one person every 3 days, sometimes you spend a year with one girl, then you move to another one. 1,000 person in 40 years. Okay, he was promiscuous. And he was a prince. Do you understand that? So it becomes feasible. Then the story has, there's a castle that there was 10,000 women there waiting to sleep with him. No, it's over his life. He had a lot of sex. That's all it means. Do you understand? It's all it means. And that's that. So we take stories and we blow them up and then become extraordinary and wow. Jesus understood this kind of thing. Like, they put a guy in a tomb, Lazarus. He's been dead for 3 days. Actually, he's been unconscious, slowly dying for 3 days. Gets back to life. Oh, okay. Not as fantastic as the movie wants to depict it. Do you understand? He was not rotting. He was just like, they couldn't see signs of life. I mean, let's question their skill as doctors at this point. You have an unconscious guy, you bury him. He's dead, he's gone, That was the thing. It was discovered, like, of course, forgot the name. There was this study that I was looking at, that they looked at the corpse and the bodies in tombs a long time ago, and it's looked like they were fighting to get out. So basically, they were unconscious people after a day, 2 days, that eventually came back and they had been buried alive, but just unconscious with a very low pulse, no breath, but just, someone knocked out has almost no signs of life. A doctor would come and say, there's a pulse, but without the instrument, you just go, poke. Ah, he's gone, man. So there's only a few, but there are people who have been buried alive, unconscious, and died there. And some of them woke up and just have all the signs of fighting from within their little tomb thing or around the earth. It happens. It's crazy, huh? So without understanding all these stories, we look at the Bhagavad Gita, the Bible, we look at all this stuff, and we see science fiction. Most of these stories have a more feasible possibility in nature. And it's less fantastic than we were led to believe. Do you understand that? Okay, so, and Jesus said that about his master, but I'm saying it about him. If you want to be equal to Jesus, don't try to hop on a pedestal yourself. Take him down from the pedestal and put it on the ground, because that's where he says he belongs. I'm just another dude, doing the hustle, And yeah, then the Romans killed him for religious reason. Yeah, why was he killed? Yeah, because he had power. It was a political thing. People followed him instead of the Sanhedrin. So it's not the Romans who wanted to kill Jesus. It's the Jewish. It's politicians. Because people, instead of going to the synagogue or the temple, they went to him. Okay? They thought they were good for it because they killed their Jesus' master was St. John the Baptist. You know, Jesus goes to kneel to a guy before he goes to get blessed. In that tradition, it's a disciple kneeling before his master. So he went to St. John. So they killed St. John because it was attracting crowds. And then 3 years later, oh shit, I got one of those again? Damn, we'll kill him too, find a way. So it's just politics. It's just a shitty story in the world, okay? So if you think about all, the whistleblowers in America and what presidents did what and all this shit, it's like the same kind of story. It's the same kind of story. They crucified a guy, okay? And the religion was built on a lot of that, but it's just a good, would make for a nice Netflix series, right? That's that. Get it? So much more human. The conversations they had. Oh, and the Mass. I'm a fully ordained Christian Catholic priest, by the way. I've done my 4 years, got my ordination, so I can tell shit about the church. I'm certified. I'm not telling shit. When I talk about the church is most people I know in the church are so charitable and kind and devoted to the well-being of everyone. The religious people are good. The ritual is not about all this, and he took the bread and he lifted it and then spread it. And like the mechanics on how he did it doesn't matter. Think about when everyone was so Jewish, mercantile. Good price for you, you're my friend, okay. Like everyone was so into surviving, into selling. The Jewish are still into selling. That's why they're so good at business. And yeah, a lot of Jewish have business, I don't know if it's not a judgment. I'm just stating a fact that I think it's a cultural thing. They just have it in their blood. I'm not against or in favor. I just stating a fact. Okay, this is not anti-Semitic thing. I know a lot of good Jewish. Actually, one of my good friends online is a Jewish guy, and we have fun talks. So, in a time where no one shared everything because everyone was so much about my money, my things, my bread. Like, look, I'm going to do something. I'm going to take part of my meal and give it to someone who doesn't have food. Cool, eh? And if you want to believe in my teachings, do that again. Just be charitable. He did an act of charity and says, if you want to believe in what I did, if you want to follow what I teach, do that. Do a kind act. Share. Then they wrote this in a book, and he says that if you have the faith, you have to go and eat the Eucharist, and they put a square frame, took a nice picture, exactly what they believe he did. I mean, if Jesus were alive today, it'd be a Coca-Cola and a hot dog. Hey, look, have half of mine. Do you understand that? It's not the wine. It's not the bread. It's the only freaking food they had, okay? Of course he split the bread because there was no other food except fish for people who knew how to go get them at the market or from the sea. Okay? So when your diet is bread and fish, and you don't have fish, what do? You take the bread, split it. And then the wine, probably cheap wine, but they had wine because it wasn't water. Because the closest water is seawater, and you should not drink that. So water, less accessible, let's have wine. So, he shared a glass of the thing he had. Do you understand that? If you remember the anthropological context of the story, he was just a nice guy. It's people, how can we, be saved? And if you want to get to heavens, basically, if you want to be with me and my Father, it's basically one with God. Have all of these spiritual experiences, okay? If you want to be with me and my Father, and of course, Father, there's a thing about, to feel this spiritual stuff is to be with God. Well, just do that. Share your food. That's a much better teaching than you have to go to church and take a piece of the Eucharist. So if you really want to celebrate the Mass, pick up the bill. Go to a restaurant with friends and pick up the bill. That's Christian. That's Jesus level Christ stuff. That's cool, huh? Yeah. So these stories in spirituality, I mean, there's so many. And we have mystified them, we've wrapped them up, and then it's just like, yeah, it's much more casual, just a guy doing a good thing, and it's not, sometimes it's freaking spectacular, but most of the time it's not really spectacular. It's, unless kindness is spectacular, I guess. Like when I gave more money for rent to my landlord because she needed more, she's like, do you understand that no renter has ever done that in the history of renters of mankind, right? Yeah, but I'm not a renter. I'm a human being, and I have $200 right now that you don't have, and you need it, and I don't need it. So here you go. Case solved. Like everyone's problem is solved. It's like, I can't believe this guy. Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, and then she came, she never asked for more. She wasn't kind of like, hey, you know, I still need 200. No, never. She's just like, you're the best ever. So this is it. This is try to demystify the stories. And the more spectacular stories, the more you have to ask yourself, well, okay, what the hell is that? $3:55. Let's see you at 4:05 in 10 minutes.